Okay, our next question is from Will. I spent the first half of the year doing the 10,000 swing challenge. Okay, now, and this is funny because when I first read this, I thought it took him 6 months to do the 10,000 swing challenge. And then, but I missed the point. The getting started with Olympic lifting, the program on Dan John University, which I found to be a phenomenal place to start learning the Olympic lifts. Thank you. Easy strength for fat loss with Olympic lifting, and I'm about to finish up the Southwood program. Okay, so he's done 5 or 6 programs this year, which is much nicer considering we're well over halfway past the year. I was thinking about spending some time doing unilateral training to give the barbell a break and see if I can pinpoint any imbalances and correct them, at least minimize them. Given that you can't personally assess me, what are the biggest imbalances you see in a general population and what's your prescription for them? Do you like an easy strength protocol or something else more effective? I'm going to answer this question in a minute, but you've got to hear this. Most of the time, I'm going to tell you use the workout generator if you don't know what you're doing. You're going to use easy strength if you're going to go in with a good focused reason for why you're doing it. Fat loss, the Olympic lifting. You just want to get stronger or maintain your strength during a season. That's the joy of easy strength. Okay, just keep that in mind. I was thinking about doing half kneeling press, okay, single leg deadlift, TRX single arm row, a single arm carry, a suitcase, waiter, rack, yeah, and either kettlebell clean or snatch. I know you're not a huge fan of lunges. How do you feel about split squats? As I write this, I think you might tell me to head to the workout generator. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I am. And the nice thing about the workout generator, especially in the way you've kind of put this together, Will, is that you can choose all those single side exercises. Yeah, I actually, if you read my book, Intervention, which is my foundation of the way my brain works. By the way, you don't need to. It's the workout generator is the book Intervention. It's just with AI. And then you read my experienced athlete's approach to easy strength. You'll notice that time and again, I have week 3 being just one-sided stuff. And what we're looking for on the one-sided stuff, Will, is you said imbalances, and there's 2. I like that because I know when I press, my right side is stronger than my left. I know when I pull my left side, if I'm doing unilateral, my left side is stronger than my right. And the reason is all those years of being a thrower. A couple quick rules if you're going to do unilateral training. The first is chin, sternum, zipper. I call it the CSZ line. I like it to stack straight up the whole time. So if you're doing an exercise, even something like did you call it a straight leg or a single leg deadlift? The whole time you're doing them, I would like your chin, your sternum, and your zipper to stay in a straight line. I watch these clowns on the internet all the time, and they'll be doing these heavy single leg stuff, and then you'll see that the head start tweaking away, and I'm always concerned about that because under load with just one single stability item, with your foot, you twist away like that, a moment of imbalance, someone slams a door, something, I just think that puts you in a tough situation. My good friend Stu McGill up there in Canada has been telling me about these weird injuries that he's getting from these new clients because these personal trainers are having people do things to excess that the human body just needs a little bit more time preparing for before you just throw them under the bus, so to speak. I'm going to ask you to use the workout generator and pick the single side stuff. Keep an eye on the CSZ. And then the next bit of advice I want you to do is use the arm or limb side that's not as strong as the other to dictate the reps. So, so if I'm pressing the beast, and it's true, San Jose RKC, I pressed it 13 times. 13, 48 kilos, one-handed 13 times. Everyone watched it. It was pretty impressive. At the time, I could probably do 1 or 2 with my left, okay? Now, so if we're pressing the beast, and I go 1 here and I can't do any more, then I would only do 1 with this arm. And that is to keep that. So what's going to happen is if you just train, 3 sets of 8, well, what happens usually is that people always have imbalances, okay? And if you train, kind of the standard normal way, the way I trained most of my career, when you do raise up, but you still have that big gap between imbalances. If you let the lesser, weaker, I hate to call it weaker side, it's really not. It's just the way you're wired. You've been wiring this side up better, and maybe this side has more injuries too, as a discus thrower, for example. What I don't want you to do is increase your strength and keep that same gap of imbalance. Now, it's never going to be perfect. The human body, and I got this from my good friend Taylor Lewis, it is asymmetrical. The heart's on this side. I mean, how many livers do you have? You have 1. Your lungs, you've got 2 lobes on one side and 3 on the other, and I don't remember how it goes, which one is which. I think you only have 1 pancreas. You have 2 kidneys, and by the way, they're much higher than people think. A lot of stuff is not symmetrical. So we are built, and there's an advantage to it. If you want to throw the discus far, you want to have a really strong left leg vertical brace, and you want to whip that right side around, as just like a bow and arrow. Well, that's going to cause imbalances over a 40 or 50 year throwing career. Imbalances, asymmetries, whatever you want to call it this week. What are the big imbalances I see with the, everybody else community, the general pop? Well, it's nothing new. Now, I guess there's some people who don't like the work of Vladimir Janda. When I was in England, that would be 3 years ago, when my brother died, someone put a little post up on Instagram and critiqued me for talking about Janda. Now, the next day when I spoke, and I called out the audience, raise your hand, the person who did that, no one put their hand up. I wonder why. But Janda, I've always found that Yanda's template is right. I'll just do the simple ones. As most people age, the biceps, the pecs, the hip flexors, the hamstrings tighten up. And I just turned myself into a very old man. The glutes, gluteal amnesia, saggy bottom, they weaken. The deltoids weaken. The triceps weaken. The ab wall weakens. So to me, globally standing back, if I have 1,000 Americans in a room, I can almost say, okay, y'all need to do hip thrust, goblet squats, overhead pressing, and the ab wheel. And maybe suitcase carry. That's not a bad workout. I can almost just say that. And then flexibility work, we're going to do what I call the stony stretch. It's a pec and hip flexor stretch. A hip flexor stretch. I wouldn't necessarily stretch the hamstrings because it's built in on some of the movements we'd move to. But if you had a hinged hamstring flex, just see my other videos. Those are the biggest imbalances when you go like this, okay? In North America, the biggest imbalance I would see is the inability of men to do pull-ups as well as their European counterparts. In Europe, I would say it's the inability of men to do overhead pressing vis-a-vis the North Americans I work with. The bigger areas of imbalance I see, it would go, if you don't mind a little bit more on is the imbalances of lifestyle, lack of meditation, lack of quality sleep. Man, it's free, and it feels great, and it does remarkable things to your brain. And if your brain's healthy, your hormone system is healthy, your nervous system is healthy, you're better, you're smarter. The imbalances come in the areas of restoratives like sleep, meditation, drinking water, This isn't water, it's coffee, but it's still fine. Folgers Crystals, the best guy. My afternoon coffee is always the Crystals, which just reminds me why I percolate in the morning. Yeah, it's those. So Yond is information generally, and then the other imbalances are what Sister Maria Sumpta taught me in the 2nd grade: work, rest, play, and pray. Just an imbalance globally of life. It's in the other room now. But well, here's one of Maffetone's books here. Phil Maffetone's, his ability, what training is workout and recovery. Bill Bowerman, he has that funny line in the book where, I can't remember what he calls typical freshmen, take any idiot freshman, and if you work them hard and then rest, they improve. And the thing is, many people forget the rest part. Many people forget the play part, alone time, and those kinds of things. Those are the imbalances I see. I enjoyed that question. Thank you.